Hello, and welcome back to The Letter. When we last left off, Isabella had talked to her parents, or her mom anyway, giving us a bit of background of her home life, and now she's rushed off to the office. I make it to our office within 20 minutes of leaving my apartment, completely disheveled and out of breath. A feat, if I take into account my usual travel time. Routine clamor, common to Briar Realty Corporation's Luxburn office, greets me as soon as my foot crosses the threshold. Papers rustling, telephones ringing at sporadic intervals, agents talking at varying volumes, staff moving about, and...
Where the hell is C? Where are my employees? What the actual fuck, guys? Of all the times to disappear without notice!
My boss's words turn muffled as someone else closes the door to his office, likely the work of our HR manager. Throughout the past weeks, he's been in a bad mood over a few employees who have failed to report to work. I hear they're still trying to get a hold of them, but to no avail. The result is, half their workload have been shifted to all available staff so as not to lose clients. Not that I mind the extra work. If anything, it means I'll have more to send to my family back home. Although the rumors of a branch closure circulating because of this is indeed a bit worrisome. My bag barely touches the top of my table when Rose pulls me aside.
Here, I need you to help me with these papers. If you could also get these signed and photocopied before lunch today, that would be great.
One after another, she thrust a bunch of paperwork in my hands without explanation. A page flutters away from the top of the pile, and I lean down to pick it up, my eyes scanning the top of the page as I straighten. A purchase and sale agreement. Rose simply gestures her thumb in the direction of our visitor lounge when I tilt my head in question. There, seated on the sofa and looking completely out of place in the humbly decorated room, is the same couple from the day before. The Wrights. Something bubbles in my throat. Their presence in the office can only mean one thing.
They're buying it? We got a deal?
She swats at my hand, tugging at her sleeve, although her eyes are alight with something akin to joy. She wants the sale to happen as much as I do, and now that it's here, the deal needs to be closed yet, documents need to be signed still, but the elation is there. Along with a foreboding feeling I can't quite pinpoint.
I had to do a little damage control, but they're already interested in acquiring the property, even before they attended the open house. I mean, isn't it obvious? They already hired an interior designer. I've never seen a buyer as aggressive as Madam Wright. She didn't even try to negotiate a lower rate.
One at a time, Rose. I can't process everything you're saying at once. What do you mean?
They're paying 15% higher than the listing price, as long as we get the paperwork done as soon as possible. I think if we allow it, they'll be paying up front, too.
Even with that urban legend?
Rose nods.
Oh, I was so sure we lost the sale after yesterday.
Don't look so surprised. We still have to conduct some last few checks before we completely hand it over to them.
Please. I'll happily do the paperwork duty, Rose. I'll even go to the land registry myself and make sure the property changes hands with every single legal blessing.
Don't they have better things to spend money on? I'd haggle it down to the lowest possible price if I were in their place, especially with the stories attached to it. Not that my opinion matters one bit here. We're just their agents who are going to receive the hefty commission after all, nothing more. Rose gives me a pat on the shoulder, signaling that she's heading back to them, and an unspoken instruction for me to follow after I'm done. It doesn't take me long to finish what work she left me. In fact, having our boss sign the agreement is the easiest, since it has put him in a better mood to the entire office's relief. Ma'am Hannah calls me over the moment she notices my presence at the lounge door. Her lips are twisted in a frown. She doesn't seem particularly happy to see me, and I'm not surprised. Why, who wouldn't be? I almost created a scene. Mr. Wright, however...
Why, if it isn't the little Lily. I trust you're feeling well now.
It's Isabella, sir. Not Lily. I appreciate your concern. I'm feeling better now.
To be fair, he's the kind of guy who gives everyone nicknames. So it doesn't matter what your name is, you're going to be some type of plant. I really don't understand why they can't get my name right. It's a fairly common name. It shouldn't be too hard to remember. Regardless, I hand them their copy of the agreement.
I believe I can take that. Thank you very much.
With how elegantly she plucks the papers off my hands, it's easy to think that there isn't any trace of irritation in her. But it is there, radiating in her stiff stance, in the way she's standing at a fair distance from her husband, and how the two look to be ignoring each other. Seeing this scene, it soon becomes clear to me that I'm not the one who has put her in a bad mood. Did they fight? Most probably. I've seen it happen dozens of times with my previous clients. It's a shame, especially with their new mansion. I never did like it when my own mama and papa fight. I hope they'll make up soon. Apparently satisfied with what she's seen, Ma'am Hannah claps her hands together before extending it to us for a shake. Rose and I release the breath we've been holding, both of us more than happy to return the gesture.
That settles it then? Are you really sure about this property, ma'am? We could easily find you a bigger one among our current listings. Something with a modern touch?
Something not haunted, perhaps? Rose shoots me a warning glance that clearly says, don't make a scene, we're almost there.
Of course, why wouldn't I be? The house is absolutely perfect, isn't it, darling?
A helipad would still be a nice addition.
Yes, well, we'll get there eventually, love. As I was saying, if your partner had the documents yesterday, we would have bought it right there immediately. Shame she didn't have it.
Well, there's still a few necessary documents we need you to sign after, but we'll let you know once we have those finalized. We'll be handling the process for the rest, so don't worry about it, ma'am.
Within a week, I hope. We still have a housewarming party to plan, after all. You know how much thought should be put into those things.
There are servants for that, darling.
Love, servants or not, you're going to make people listen to your input nonetheless. No more than a week, ma'am. Barring unexpected delay, of course. You can leave it to us. Excellent. Well then, I'll leave you two to it. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. Oh, and before we forget...
She discreetly folds something into both of our hands and winks, a finger raised to her lips demanding our silence.
What happened the day before was quite unfortunate. But you did get us what we wanted in the end. That, at the very least, is commendable.
But this is... Ma'am, I can't accept this.
Don't you worry, darling. It's a small thing coming from us. Consider this your bonus for a job well done.
If rich bitches want to throw their money at you, let them. She smiles sweetly like this is simply the most normal thing to do in the world.
Oh, before I forget, my lovely interior designer would appreciate it if you hand her a copy of the floor plan as soon as possible. She's dying to work on the house. You can do that, yes? Here's her contact.
Certainly, ma'am. We'll have it processed as soon as possible.
I knew I could count on you, lovelies. I hope to see you two soon so we can get this closed.
Just like that, transaction over and done with. My mind's still reeling even after they've left. Other agents would kill to have clients like them. A part of me feels lucky about the fact. No lengthy negotiations, no sudden change of minds. Just talk, signatures, a few handshakes here and there, and we're done. The other part? A second ago, we sold a haunted property to two innocent clients. I'd argue one innocent client and one jackass, but whatever. Sure, the commission's big. Big enough to continue funding Papa's treatment and hospitalization. Big enough to pay for all 4 of my younger siblings' schooling. Heck, it'll keep me away from an instant noodle diet for months. I don't have to go back to the mansion as well once the deal's been closed, much to my sanity's relief. But knowing that something's in there, and we gave it to the good couple despite that? Oh, Isabella, the things you do to sell a house and get money. Papa won't be happy with that. At least I have good news to tell next time I call home. The little lie I told Mama this morning isn't a lie anymore.
Well, there's something. So how does it feel?
How does what feel?
Your first big multi-million-pound sale, silly. I know you've been with us for years, but this has got to be memorable for you.
Memorable is an understatement, Rose.
Come on, show some enthusiasm. They gave us a bonus, too. Aside from the commission and the other bonus boss promised. What are you gonna do with it?
I don't know. Send it home, probably?
All of it?
Not everything, of course. Most of it. I'll leave some for my living expenses.
Listen here, Isabella. I'll teach you something I should have told you before we ended your training.
She slings an arm over my shoulders and leans in closer to my ear as though she's about to share a big secret.
It's okay to celebrate from time to time.
I don't get it.
It's simple. Go out, do something for yourself. throw a party and treat your friends to free food. Didn't you say the last one's some sort of tradition back at home for you? Hello, this is practically a done deal.
Isn't throwing a party a bit excessive?
Your call. I won't say no to an invitation, by the way, in case you really are planning to throw one. A few drinks would be nice too, thank you very much.
I don't think my apartment's big enough for that.
You could always move? Bloody hell, you're working in real estate.
I think I'll pass. That's too much of an unnecessary expense for me. But I did promise Becca free lunch in case the sale goes well.
You go do that. Hold on a sec.
She quickly removes herself from me to answer the phone on her desk. Her tone shifts from playful to professional in the span of a few seconds.
Today? Not a problem, ma'am. I could bring you a copy of the contract if...
Must be another client. Nothing surprising there. She's one of BRC's top agents, no matter how modest she appears. A saleswoman through and through. I, on the other hand, have very little knack for it. Of course, I learned eventually. I had to. But someone else will, without a doubt, do a better job. Once, though, in a drunken stupor, Rose told me a story of what could have been. Years ago, wide-eyed, young, and brimming with yet-to-be-fulfilled dreams and ambitions, she was a term or two away from a nursing degree. Out of courtesy, I had never pressed on the matter further. But perhaps it's where the sense of fondness started. A small connection due to one similar experience in our respective lives, of goals we've both let pass us by because of the circumstances we're in.
I'd be happy to discuss this over tea, ma'am. All right, I'll be there. Thank you.
New client?
Reassigned. Have you heard from Mark at all?
Not since the first visit to the mansion.
Dun dun dun.
Why? No news from the HR yet?
None at all. Boss thinks he ran away. I doubt it, though. He's too much of a wimp for that.
Wow.
There must be another reason. Who knows? Anyway, I've got to meet this one. I'll see you later.
She throws a wave over her shoulder as she rushes out of the office. The lunchtime bell sounds shortly after, followed by the chatter of fellow agents also heading out for a much-needed break. Ordinarily, there's no need for me to go out, but oversleeping didn't allow me the luxury of packing my own lunch today, if one considers taking an instant noodle cup from my pantry packing your lunch. Time to make good on the promise I made to Becca, I suppose. Maybe invite Zach and Ash too? How long is your lunch break? In the end, only Becca and Zach could come. Ash, on the other hand, couldn't be reached. All of my calls went straight to his voicemail. He's at it again. Right here today, gone the next. Oh well, his loss. We have agreed to meet at a nearby cafe, the same one I frequent with Becca because it's cheap and they give away free bread around closing time. Quaint, a little old-fashioned, though looks a wee bit out of place amidst the city's tall buildings, but we love it all the same. Much like its facade, the interior carries an antiquated charm to it. Vintage art pieces in a row of shelves boasting an extensive collection of books cover the walls. It would have been nice to hang out here for hours on end, but even on a weekend the place is still packed with people. Thankfully, Becca and Zach have already found seats and are engaged in some casual chatter when I arrive. It's strange seeing the two of them without Ash accompanying the other. They've never been particularly close. Sure, they talk when they meet, laugh at the same things when there's something funny, but there's distance, the kind born purely out of differing interest. That, or is Zach simply afraid of Becca? It's not impossible, and I won't blame him if he is. He might be the tallest of our group, but everyone knows that it means nothing against Becca's temper. Even I'm a little scared of her.
Zach! Becca!
Well, you seem to be in a better mood today. What happened? I know that smile, Belle. Come on, still.
Don't rush me. Let's order food first, okay?
A waitress comes by to take our order. On a normal day, me and Becca will order a hearty serving of their special vegetarian stovies. Zach takes anything with a good helping of meat, sausages, or potatoes in it. But today's a good day, great even. It's not wrong to indulge a little, right?
Today's special. For the three of us.
Even the person jotting down our order looks surprised at today's meal choice. She writes it nevertheless and leaves without a comment. Becca furrows her eyebrows, her mouth halfway open, ready to let loose what's likely a string of reprimands.
Don't worry. It's my treat.
The glare she sends my way reminds me of the one I received from Mama when I punched a kid bullying my younger brother 18 years ago. Naturally, I never did it again after she made me apologize the next day. but Becca's far from being my mom. A small sheepish grin is enough to turn that frown into a defeated sigh. Food arrives in the middle of a funny story from Zach, putting the rest of the conversation on hold as we are each served our order. It isn't anything fancy. Pan-roasted sea bass with citrus-dressed asparagus and a portion of mashed potatoes on the side, or at least that's what the daily specials board says. I never did pay any attention to it whenever I come here, since they price whatever's written way above what I'm willing to spend on food on a single day.
Oh, good. I'm so hungry, I think I'm dying.
You're always hungry.
Hey, not all the time.
All the time.
Let me guess. You skipped breakfast again.
Not on purpose. I may have overslept by a few seconds today.
Right then. Stop stalling, Isabella. What's this about?
Let us say it, Rebecca. She wouldn't be inviting us out if it wasn't worth hearing out.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm treating you guys to a once-in-a-century thing.
An expectant grin breaks out on my face, except...
I'm sorry, say that again.
And this is important because...
Becca only raises an eyebrow at me, while Zach appears like he didn't get the punchline to another lame joke Ash made and is desperately searching for someone to explain it. Oh, bummer. Maybe I should rephrase it?
Okay, let me do that again. Guess what, guys? I'm paying! I sold the house!
As the news sinks in, their expression goes from sheer bewilderment to utter surprise. That's more like it.
You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen. As of today, I'm Maria Isabella Grace Cruz Santos and free from my instant noodle binge.
Seriously?
Hold it, Belle. You sold the house?
Yep.
Which house is this? In Anselm Village? The one with the open house yesterday?
The one and only. Come on, Becca. I know you've got a better memory than that.
Oh, wow. That's...
She lets out a hum. Although she's nodding, she gives the impression of someone who has heard something unbelievable and is still forcing her brain to absorb it. Did she think we wouldn't be able to sell it? Have some faith in me, Becca. Am I not your best friend or what?
You don't believe me?
The words tumble out of my mouth before I can stop them. I have been trying to avoid bringing up yesterday's little spat, and judging from the looks on their faces, it seems they are too. Me and my stupid mouth.
I'm sure it ain't the way you're thinking, Bella.
No, I do believe you. But don't you think the sale happened a bit too fast? The open house only started yesterday, and now you already have a buyer?
It happens from time to time.
Yeah, but look, I'm happy for you. Just yesterday, you've been really worried where to get money for your dad's new treatment. And now, all of a sudden, you have something.
Look, lady, someone just passed me a fat wad of cash. Of course I'm gonna spend it.
What if the sale doesn't push through, or I don't know, they're a fraud, or they suddenly back out? Isn't it a little too early to celebrate?
Rebecca does have a point, Bella. If you haven't closed the deal yet, there's still a chance they'll go back on it.
They don't seem like it to me. The lady appeared to really want it, and she approached me without even finishing the tour.
Pressured me into it, more like. But I'm not going to tell Becca about that. Knowing her, she'd only worry.
And she already hired someone to handle the house's interior design.
You're joking. Who would do that?
The Wrights, apparently. It's actually pretty funny. She's a bit too excited to get the property, she forgot to buy it. At any rate, they've already signed the agreement today, so it's just a matter of time. And don't tell anyone about this, but Ma'am Hannah also gave us something extra.
Something as in...
A fat wad of cash. Weren't you listening?
As in, it's why I can treat you two to a free meal.
I'm more surprised you accepted it.
She didn't really give us a choice in the matter. So don't lose sleep over this, okay? The couple really want the house. If Rose didn't stop them, they'd likely have paid up front for it yesterday. That's despite the legends, too. I even tried to show them the letter. But nope. I want this house, darling. Go take all our money.
You don't really think they'd believe that, do you? I'm pretty sure for them, those are just rumors as well. No one is that superstitious in this day and age, Belle.
Belle is.
Well, there's you.
Yep.
Right. You know what? I'll just eat all of these by myself.
I begin to gather their plates to my side, the food in each still untouched. A laugh almost escapes my mouth the way Zach's expression quickly changes to disappointment. Becca's hand interrupts me just as I'm about to pull her plate closer to me.
I'm kidding! Don't go all pouty on me again. I'm just concerned you'll get hurt if this doesn't happen. I know how badly you want to close this deal for your papa.
I'm sure he's gonna be fine now, though, with the money. They don't know yet. I think I'll call them tomorrow. Let them know things will be easier. Mama said this morning he's showing progress with the new treatment, too. It's just a matter of time.
I allow myself to smile, genuine and uninhibited. It's strange talking about this with other people, even those who have known you long enough. But today, things simply feel a whole lot lighter with them here. Lunch passes in an enjoyable fashion. A laugh here, a playful jab there, but most of it is spent on catching up and telling stories about whatever's keeping us busy these days. Something we couldn't afford to do the day before, taking into account what happened. Even Becca's surprisingly chatty. Is there something in the sea bass we ate? Zach, though, appears less energetic. While he's far from being the life of the party, he's definitely not the type to keep quiet in a conversation with his friends. Apart from a few inputs, he's been silent the entire time. If Becca notices...
Are you sure you're not feeling under the weather, Zachary?
Huh? No, I'm okay. No worries, Rebecca.
Doesn't sound okay to me.
It's okay. I might be feeling a little bummed out today, but I'm sure this will pass.
Is it about the reviews this morning?
A pained expression crosses Zach's face, and almost immediately Rebecca retreats in her inquiry, as though the man's look is enough of an answer for her. I look between the two of them. Did I miss something? What happened this morning? Did I stumble on a big secret? This is why I don't like waking up late.
You heard about those, huh?
Sorry, I just happened to check on some sites this morning.
Nah, it's a very sensitive topic in the first place. I should have expected it.
What reviews?
Becca glances at Zach, her emotions unsure, her eyes asking for his consent on the matter. Although there's a small desire to keep asking on my part, I don't dare voice it out. With Zach, it's always been better to wait. Let him speak on his own. Becca too, to some extent, although with her, explosions of temper are more common. In the end, he simply answers with a shift of his shoulders, gesturing for her to go on with a tilt of his head.
It's his movie.
That doesn't explain anything. Stop dangling the information, Becca!
Zachary, I'm not the one supposed to be telling her about this. It's still your documentary.
Is it something bad?
Not bad per se. You guys don't need to dwell on it much.
Bad? Listen here. I wouldn't trivialize what those bowheads wrote if I were you. They're ruining other people's jobs.
From how her tone rises in anger, it seems like she's the one slighted and not Zach. A snicker escapes me, which I promptly stamp down on as soon as she sends me a hard look.
This isn't a laughing matter, Isabella. Some bowbag just insulted him.
Calm down, Rebecca. Those are just reviews, and it happens a lot.
I do not ken about you two, but calling the entire film an out-and-out drivel, you're better off watching an educational kids' TV show, and worst 1.5 hour of my life, among other things, isn't exactly a critique any decent movie reviewer would say.
I dinna ken.
If you could call that a critique,
Scottish?
did we even watch the same film?
Well, maybe I ain't cut out for it. Better stick with my photography or something. If nothing else, this helped me open my eyes to what I can and can't do.
You're giving up.
It wasn't a question.
It was just something experimental I did on my free time anyway. It's no big deal.
But you worked on it for months.
Doesn't look like it matters for those people.
Don't say that!
My palm strikes the table, sending the tableware on top clinking against each other. I didn't even notice when I rose from my seat. But here I am, chest heaving, looking down at him in the same manner a teacher would at an unruly student. Becca's probably proud. I didn't mean to yell, but there are some things that people like Zach aren't supposed to say. How exasperating. He, of all people, should know.
It's just a review.
Except they're pretty well-known critics.
Why does that matter? They aren't the ones calling the shots on this. Isn't that why they have a committee? Right, Becca?
An amused gleam is in her eyes when I turn to her. What does she find so entertaining here? Help me here. Your friend's about to quit his passion for a petty reason. I haven't read what those people wrote about his work, but a few scathing words shouldn't be enough to discourage someone. I should know. After all, I'm...
Failing means you're playing, Zach. Not that I'm saying it's bad. I've seen it from start to finish, and I know for myself what you created isn't something people should scoff at. I don't know anything about filming or photography, Hell, I don't have an inkling of artistry in me except for those doodles I make for class. But I know what I watched. Look at Isabella. It's not every day you see her all riled up like this.
Whatever I'm about to say gets lost in my tongue as a flush of embarrassment blooms across my face.
It was a heat of the moment thing. And anyway, I'll be very angry with you if you quit. What about the exhibit?
What exhibit?
Classified information.
Even if I bring you your favorite tonight?
Nope, not a chance.
Oh, come on! I thought we aren't supposed to have secrets.
A burst of laughter comes from Zach.
Thanks, you two. I might need some time alone to myself for a while. Just to think about things, how I'll go from here, that sort of stuff. Hey, I'm not quitting, Bella. Don't give me that face.
There's no face at all. Only a poor imitation of a puppy dog eyes, if you could call this one.
Promise?
I'll be damned if I break any promise I make to you guys. Besides, you're right. It's too early to say anything right now. What's night ain't for another week?
And that's all the answer I need from him. As sentimental as it sounds, the fulfillment in knowing another person you know won't take the same path you've walked. It's not like it's over for me, though. I still have time. I could still come back. I'll do my own thing. Do what I really want to do. Surely, once Papa recovers, once I'm done with everything. Inside my bag, my phone buzzes unexpectedly, breaking the pleasant afternoon lull. The screen shows Rose.
Hey, Isabel. You at the office?
Ha ha. Very funny, Rose. I'm hanging up.
Don't, I'm kidding. BRC says the floor plan copies are ready for Miss McCullough to pick up.
She states that as if it already explains everything. Then, out of the blue, she launches a long rant about the awful state of Luxburn streets. All of which she says in a single breath that I can barely keep up and make out a single word. I stay quiet, if only to avoid becoming the next object of her frustration. She's similar to Becca in that regard.
I'm stuck in horrendous traffic right now. Bloody stupid drivers.
When she has finally ran out of things to complain about and stops, what she says next still has none of what I'm hoping to hear from her. Just a quick mumbled plea for me to meet the right interior designer instead, and...
Anyway, I'll leave it to you. Bye. Thanks.
Classic Rose. She ends the call without even asking for my input. Alright, and that'll be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.